Hi, I'm standing here on the Axel slipway where the Titanic was built. And as part of Belfast City Council's Titanic Made in Belfast events for Easter, you can come and visit this very spot and a lot of other events that are happening around the city. Let's go and find out more. And I have with me now Una Riley, who's the chairperson and co-founder of the Belfast Titanic Society. Una, just explain where we are here now.
We're standing at the exact point, just over 100 years ago, where the Titanic came into existence. I would say this was the point at which Titanic was born. On the 31st of March 1909, the first keel plate was laid, and we actually have it here behind us, this symbolic, if you like, symbol of oh dear, and it's always very blowy on the slipway. I mean, imagine building a ships here. This is a good day today, but it's always blowy, it's always cold. Thank God the sun is shining. But Belfast is the only place in the world that can do this, can actually celebrate when Titanic first came into existence. And on this exact spot, 100 years ago, the men would have laid the first keel plate on Titanic. And from this one single structure, the biggest ship in the world began to take shape.
And what are some of the other recent projects that the Society has been involved in?
One of the ones that we're delighted to have been involved with, and delighted that it has taken off so well, is the restoration of the pump house and the Thompson dry dock, which is in essence Titanic's footprint. The dry dock that was made specifically for the Olympic class liner, of which Titanic was the second. You can come down, you can wander around. It's one place apart from here where you get a feeling of the sheer size of Titanic. There is a visitor attraction, there is a coffee shop, there are facilities. It's wonderful to come down here, and today is great to see so many people down at these. A lot of people don't know they're there, and they are here. They're welcoming places. Do come down.
Over at the W5 in the Odyssey Pavilion, a special exhibition, Titanic Designed and Built in Belfast, is running until April the 19th. It includes a wide range of artefacts and archive photographs, many of them provided by the National Museums and Galleries of Northern Ireland. This week a number of people are giving Titanic-related talks in the W5 Lecture Theatre, among them local freelance journalist Suzy Miller. Suzy, your family has an interesting connection with the Titanic story. Would you like to tell us about it?
That's right. My great-grandfather, my father's father's father, Tommy Miller, was on board Titanic. He signed up as an assistant deck engineer with the White Star crew in the hope of starting a new life for his family in America. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. He was one of the nearly over 1,500 people who perished on the 15th of April 1912.
And tell me a little bit, elaborate on the story about the two pennies.
Well, my grandfather was 5 years old when his father sailed off on Titanic. His mother had already died. She died in January of 1912. So really he was losing both parents at this point. So as Tommy Miller was saying goodbye to my grandfather and his older brother at the quayside, he pressed into their hands 2 new pennies with the date 1912 on them and said, "Don't spend those until I see you again." And of course, they never did see him again, because we know what happened to Titanic. And my grandfather kept those pennies all his life and cherished them, because really they were the only memory, the physical memory that he had of his father. He passed them on down to my father then, who passed them on down to me.
Fantastic. And how did you get involved in this series of lectures here?
Well, I was simply asked. I've been doing a lot of Titanic work over the past year. I've been taking people around on tours, I've been giving talks and really getting more immersed in my own family history. And as I've been doing that, I've been sort of unearthing more detail about Tommy and how he would have lived. So I feel I've got a story to tell which is different to maybe your average Titanic story. A lot of emphasis is put in the engineering, how the ship was constructed and some of the people that were on board. But I like to tell it from the point of view of the effect it had on an ordinary Belfast family and what happened to Tommy's children after he didn't come back. And I think it's important that that social history is given a voice as well as the great engineering feat that Titanic was.
And I have with me now Robert McRae. Robert, I understand you're a member of the Belfast Titanic Society.
I am, yes. I've only joined it from last July.
And well, what made you join it?
Well, I have an interest about the Titanic. As we all know, it was built here in Belfast, and we just like to keep the legacy of the Titanic just going on through the years. And I feel it's important for younger people to come into Belfast Titanic Society to keep going the legacy of the Titanic.
And what do you think of the Titanic story?
I think it's great because I've been always interested in it and because it's made in Belfast now.
You've always had a great interest in the whole story?
Yeah.
And where have you been today?
We've been down at the pump house and all and down doing the wee tours out the back and all.
What do you think of everything that they've been organising?
I think it's great.
I think it's important for people to remember the story of the Titanic.
Yes, I do.
And Una, can people find out more about the Society on your website?
Yes, we have a website and you can catch us on www.belfast-titanic.com, and please come, find out more about us and perhaps even join the Society.
For further details of all events in the Titanic Made in Belfast Festival, log on to www.belfastcity.gov.uk/Titanic.